I think it was 2004 here, we had a conference called, no, it was 2006, I can give you the exact date, called the Podcast Academy. And the management of this building, the deans and a lot of the professors thought these were going to be a bunch of geeks with pocket protectors and pinwheel hats, and they were ahead of the curve. There was a lot of techie people that thought this was a great new thing, but it wasn't out there for the general public. And then about Bill Simmons and Mark Maron and a couple of other people, sort of popular people because they were comedians or they were sportscasters or had some other following, started podcasting, and that made it more mainstream. And then the one that really made the big difference was Serial, Sarah Koenig's spin-off from This American Life, and that went from 0 to 1 million downloads in a very short amount of time. So it was the most popular, and is still the most popular and most downloaded podcast ever, and that was only 3 years ago. So we've come a long way in a short amount of time. So podcasting is this semester for the first time as an experimental class. It's offered as a 502, try it and see if it works class. So I've got 10 graduate students. It's actually a mix of grad and undergrad students taking the podcasting class, and that is exclusively for podcasting. I think I've learned from this experiment that the kids should have taken another radio course as a prereq, so that they would at least be familiar with the writing style for the ear, with the narrative storytelling arc of how to tell a story and punctuate it to keep the audience engaged at various points. You need to surprise them and put up signposts that say something good is coming. So it's been a lot more work. The course is really about the business of podcasting and less about the content. And I think I need to spend more time on the content and have kids that have some radio experience come into the class so they can ramp up quickly to do a podcast. I do have another 500 level course called Narrative Radio, which I think would be a very good preparation, and that's been on the books. I've been teaching that for about 15 years. And that basically teaches narrative storytelling for the ear, and then putting that into sort of a longer form for a podcast and adding interviewing skills, because a lot of podcasts are just long interviews. I think we need to do that in the podcast class.